Hey guys, good morning. It's Saturday, November something, 20. I never know what day it is. 21, 22, something. Welcome to Scratching the Dirt. This is Nikki, and I haven't filmed anything for Scratching the Dirt other than the carnivore vlog in a while. And there's myriad reasons for that. But today I decided I was going to go ahead and get something on film and kind of update everybody on what's going on. Sorry, I heard something over there. It's just plants blowing in the wind. Let me gather myself. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what I've been up to already this morning. I was going to POV everything, but my phone didn't charge last night. I don't know why. So I had to charge it, and I didn't want to wait to get started because it's wonderfully cool this morning. There is a breeze. I'm actually wearing like long sleeves, which is unusual for me outside. But I'm going to show you guys what I've been up to and where the garden's at right now as we kind of come to the end of November. And first I'm going to film garden stuff, and then maybe we'll see if I can get some scratching the surface stuff today or not. But I definitely want to let you guys see where the garden is and what the plans are. So hang on, I'm going to show you the first thing I did this morning. Okay, so let's walk through here. I know it's been a while since I filmed anything out in the garden, so I'll show you kind of where we're at. Jose put this together. Y'all remember this was like, we put cardboard down in preparation for next spring. We want to put berries over here, so we're trying to kill out the grass. We need to actually extend it, but we have a water line right here for the irrigation that needs to be dealt with. But this is us using what we've got to build a sort of greenhouse. You can see our fire stack is right there. The lawnmower is right there. These are poles that I pulled out probably last weekend or the weekend before, just out of the garden in random places. I moved all of these pots that were up against the house over to here in preparation. We had 2 nights that got down to like 37 degrees. And so I was like, well, if we're going to be doing that and flirting with freezing, let's go ahead and get them close. So that's why we have this up, even though it's not quite ready to go. Which direction do we want to go first? This is just my, where I work. So I have cleaned up a little bit of along the house. You can see there used to be a whole lot of like random things growing here that I pulled out. I cut back that parsley. I've just cleaned out a lot of this. And so these spots, you can see there's that you can see where those pots were previously before I moved them over. I brought this salvia all the way back, and it decided it's spring again, and it's starting over. So these are the little peppers that really never did anything. Just slowly, all the eggplant have come out. Just slowly, I've been pulling out this and that. So all this is, most of this is the same. I cut back a lot of the stuff. I think I've showed you guys when I put these in here, that was those little shallots that were given to us, and they look healthy. So hopefully they're going to make it over the winter. I've slowly been pulling things like this. Last weekend I cut this way back. It was huge, and the chickens got all of that. All of this has come out. This basil here, I just was looking at it this morning, and I don't know if you can see, yeah, on camera, you can see all the seeds. And so I think for this one, I'm going to actually try and get those seeds. Save $2 on seeds next season. Plus, these are really good growers, and so these are good seeds to keep. All of this over here is pretty much the same. A lot of, random tomatoes have come out of here. I've kept these just because they're still giving us little tomatoes. The lime right there, or lemon, whichever one it is, it actually needs to go. That's going to need to be moved over into the makeshift greenhouse. See, just random tomatoes as they've been petering out. And then that huge basil. Y'all remember that big old basil? That one I went ahead and chopped down last weekend. The San Marzano tomatoes are just weird, but like there's a tomato. There's a tomato. There's another one of like, things are still going. I keep battling the urge to chop everything down, but then I do things like this and come out here and go, oh, look at all the red tomatoes. So there's another one. I don't know why I'm pulling these right now because now I got to put them somewhere. There's still peppers growing here. Lots of peppers in here. Jose just pulled, like 3 or 4 days ago, just pulled a ton of them off. And they're still coming. So there's that. And then look here. See all these red tomatoes? Chili pekin, sage, another chili pekin. And then I'm going to set these here. See, we've got some jalapenos. See, that one's getting some black on it. So I'm going to pull these off. The little chili pekins right here. There's actually a pepper plant being pushed over by the sage here. So the sage will make it through the winter. The pepper plant won't unless I pull it out. So I'm just going to let that be. But here's what I've been working on this morning. So I came over here, and if y'all remember, I'm trying to figure out how to be because of the sun. So here's the garden, right? We know where we are. There's the train going behind us. But in the last couple of weeks, I've pulled everything out of here, and I pulled all of the grasses, all of the weeds, everything, cleaned this up. Then I came out this morning, and I took the shovel and I shoveled everything. Like I just went one shovel deep and loosened everything up. Then I put a little bit of garden tone fertilizer in, mixed it in, and then I added new dirt on top, flattened that out, and I've soaked it with the water hose just to make sure, because the stuff that I shoveled up to begin with, the original dirt, was pretty dry. And so I didn't want to plant into dry soil because we got our onions. The onions that I ordered way back when, like in September or whenever it was, came in yesterday. So just like I had planned, I wanted to have this ready to go, and it was perfect. They came in last night, and then so this morning, this is the first thing I'm doing for the day. Is this is ready for the onions to go in. I just need to open up the onions and see what they look like and see how many. I don't even remember how many I have. So that's what we're about to be doing. For that, I'm gonna put the POV on and probably just film that. That might be scratching the surface type stuff because I have a lot of things I want to talk to y'all about. But this right here is specifically for the garden. But I got to pull these tomatoes. The olive trees. We were just talking last night about how we've got to protect these for the winter. We got to get those like bag things you can put over it. The olive trees took off here late, like probably starting August or September. They added a ton of new growth. So I want to make sure we have this one, and then we have that one there at the end, right there. Sorry, try not to get the neighbor's property because, like I've said before, they didn't ask to be on YouTube. But everything is just kind of doing what it does over here. Like I hate the way this yarrow looks, but I know it'll be back next spring, so we're good. I did have all of the coleus that I planted in here didn't really make it. This one's done for. I had one over there too, and it died out. It did really well for a while, but then it petered out. So the coleus on the other side of the house over by the chickens did really, really well over there. That might be my coleus spot. But let me pop these onions open. Let's look at them. Okay. So these are the onions. That's my water. Not exciting. I went and grabbed this pot because it's a 4-inch pot, and that's the spacing we decided we wanted to use for the onions. So the idea is that if I put an onion right here and there's 2 inches on this side, and then the next one is, if it's 4 inches away, then that onion has 2 inches on each side before it hits its neighbor to grow. So we would end up with, at full size, 4-inch onions. That for us seems like the good spot to try. And again, this is our first real attempt at doing onions in the fall. We've always tried them in the spring and they didn't work before. So I am not endorsing this brand. This is the brand that I was able to remember. Everybody was sold out and I couldn't find onions. This was the one, after I think I looked at 5 or 6 websites, this was the one that still had pre-orders available. I could still get onions. And they are, I'm going to lie to you. Hang on. Okay, so we're into the onion package. Again, this was the brand that still had onions available when I was looking, and everyone else was sold out. So I just want to get into, I've never had onion starch before, so I don't even know what to expect here. Okay. The wind is blowing. I'm going to make sure I don't put trash all over the neighborhood. There we go. Okay, so I bought red onions and white onions. Let's see what their tips are. Give your plants what they, oh, you want me to buy stuff. Onion growing guide. Thank you for your onion order. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's look at these. I've only ever seen these on other YouTube channels. This is kind of exciting. So this is so far. I don't have my glasses. I can't actually really see this. Fall, 1/4 inch, plant spacing, 4 inches. Look at that. That's the recommended. Perfect. Okay. 145 days to maturity. This one is Texas Super Sweet. Fall, 1/4 inch, plant spacing, 4 inches, right? I hope I'm reading that correctly because, again, I don't have my glasses. Date of maturity, 110. So 4 months. Ooh, I thought these were going to take longer. But cool. Okay. So I'm going to leave my water here. I'm going to grab this. Pack this back in here so it doesn't blow away. And then, of course, I'm not using gloves to plant. So we're going to come over here. I don't know how many's in each one of these. Can't remember, but let's go take a look at what we're going to do here. So this is an 8-foot bed. So, they say row spacing 12 to 18. I don't fully understand that. So if I have a row of onions here and they're going to become, 4 inches wide, why do I need another 8 inches this way before I put the next onion? So I'm not going to follow that spacing guideline because I never do. I am going to do 4 inches, but I am probably just going to maybe 6 inches apart in rows. We'll see. So trying to figure out if these are going to mature first, I kind of want them in the middle, right? And because I want to start this direction and then plant as far as I need to, that I'm going to start here and then plant as far as I need to that direction. But this space here along the edge needs to be available for cucumbers. So I'm hoping to not get that close. And then if I put my earliest matures closer to the cucumbers, that means those come out earlier. There's more room. That's what I'm going to do there. So I'm going to set down the reds. Nope. Yep. So I'm going to start with the reds. So I'm going to plant this direction with the reds first. Yay. Okay. Hang on. Let me gather my brain again. Okay. Train finally stopped blowing his diggity dang horn. And so at this point, I'm kind of just following the previous spacing. I'm going to make it a little easier on myself here rather than trying to measure out every single one. So here's what I've got. So that's 34. So I must have gotten 50 of each. That must be the quantity. So we definitely have plenty of room for all the onions. What where's my little pot? Because I think what I need to do is flip these the other way, because then I'm going to have spacing this way. Ooh, I don't know about you. See that guy? He looks, I don't know. We're going to set him there and see if we need to come back for him or not. I know this isn't very exciting stuff. For me, it's really exciting because we're finally, it's one of those things where we talked about it in the spring and summer, and then I actually followed through and ordered them. And here I am planting the onions. We're both really excited to have these. So I'm trying to make sure that I do a good job and plant them carefully and thoughtfully, so that we can get a good crop in the spring. Sometimes I have to think ahead in the fall to be prepared. So, I started getting closer and closer, didn't I? These need to pop up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I think because the length is like throwing me off. Like they're not standing straight up right now because they're not in the ground yet. See, like this, I probably won't even plant that. But I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them. So those I'll just pop in the next row when we get them here. So to make sure I don't screw up my spacing completely, I'm gonna come in on take my very first one. I probably could get a stick and do this, but I'm literally just gonna pop them into the ground. Like, yes. But I feel like that's too low. I need to pull them. It says 1/4 inch depth, which is, that doesn't make any sense to me because this is more than 1/4 inch. Maybe it's, I know that the bulbs will actually grow really close to the surface, so I'm not going to go quite so deep with them. I'm going to do them deep and then pull them back, because that way those roots aren't just sitting at the top of the soil. Scintillating. So exciting. Entertainment here. There's lots of like wheat or root and stuff from the previous crops in here. And that's fine because it can just break down and add nutrients. but I don't want it to be in my way while I'm trying to plant. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause this. Okay, so the onions are in. I realize that my rows do get a little cattywampus, do get a little bit off. And then there's this little like bunch over here in the corner where I had some left and I didn't want to do a whole nother row. So we've got over 100 onions in here. I don't know why, but there were about 70 in the white onions. And I thought they were sold in bunches of 25 or 50. So I don't maybe there were 75. I'm not sure. But they're in. I'm going to put a little bit of water on top of them to kind of get them settled in to their new home. And then we're thinking, I need to look it up, but we're thinking about covering this with leaves from the yard for the winter and just let them be. Let them do their thing. Let me get the water hose and get these watered in. And here we go. Let's water them in. I have a kink in my hose. Yep. Always. Turn that off before we get crazy. I don't know what it is with me and water hoses. We do not get along very well. So I soaked this pretty well before I put anything in it. I'm just going to give it a little bit of water. And then the onions are in. Clean up my mess. Doesn't seem like a big deal. It's just some onions, Nikki, but I'm really excited about them. All right. She's planted. You pick up the trash. Oh, there's rubber bands here. We're not going to leave those in the garden. And I had found tape in the garden in the bed earlier. Get my little cup that I was using momentarily for spacing. Oh, I just realized this is filming probably upside down. That's all right, I can flip it. So, put this back in here. So I guess you guys will be able to see with me whether or not the Haas do well. And of course, I don't actually want my success or failure to be an endorsement of anything. I've never done the onions before, so I may have made mistakes. I don't know, but they're in, and so that's a great start to today. Okay, so I was filming a carnivore vlog, and then when I was editing that, I realized I had this other footage of the onions that I never did anything with, and so I just wanted to throw this together and let you guys see a little bit of what's been going on in the garden. These pictures, I'm going to put some pictures here. These are the onions after a week. Yesterday on Saturday, Jose raked up some leaves, put them in a trash can, and then ran the weed eater through it to mulch them up a little bit. And then he spread that over the onions so that they can have the protection they need during the winter. I did look it up, and it is a good idea. So that's what we did. So these are the pictures of the finished onion beds. We have near freezing temperatures coming. It's either tonight or tomorrow night for a couple of nights again. That's what we're getting, basically 2 days at a time. But the onions are ready to go. I did a little bit of cleanup of other things in the garden yesterday, but again, I found where things were still producing, and I was like, okay. What I did do yesterday, though, is I did pull all of the bell peppers, all of the sweet peppers, and those are currently in the dehydrator. I'm going to dehydrate those, and they're going to become a part of a chili powder that I've been working on all season, because I dehydrated a ton of serranos and they were so hot that like, It made me cry. I had to get a mask and gloves to chop those up to what do you call it? To grind those. And then I was like, okay, so I gotta dehydrate some inert non-spicy peppers to kind of dilute the spice. I think I've talked about it before on a video, but so I did pull all of the bell peppers yesterday. There's still some jalapenos. We're going to see what they do. There's not a ton because Jose keeps picking them. And he's picked most of the tomatoes. They're still out there in the garden because I went in there to clear them out, and I was like, oh, look at all these green tomatoes that are still here. So we're going to see what happens with those. And when we get to the point where we actually finally call it quits on this season's garden, I will be sure to let you guys see that. But I know I haven't done just a full garden video in a while. I haven't even done a scratching the surface in a while, but here we go. I'm gonna try to keep you guys updated, let you see what's going on, what we're doing, what we're planning. But that's where we are right now. We are in cleanup and prep for next year phase, except for the onions. I'm excited to see how they do over the winter. But you guys have a wonderful week. And I don't know how soon I will. If you're watching the carnivore vlog, I'll see you soon. But I'm going to try to do better about posting garden stuff and scratching the surface stuff because there's a lot. So that I want to talk about, like I think I mentioned in this video. But thank you for being here, and I will see you again. Bye.